it's Ina the Mood Reader, and welcome to this new series, Books on My Radar. And for this first video, I'll be talking about 21 romance books that are coming out or came out this 2021. And I know Valentine's Day is over, but technically it's still the love month, so please indulge me in sharing with you some of the romance books I'm interested in reading that are coming out throughout this year. So this is a mixture of young adult and adult novels, but most are in the contemporary genre, so I hope these books interest you as they did. Let's get on with it. The first book I'm interested in is Counting Down With You by Tashi Bhuyan. Basically, this book is about a Bangladeshi teenager that will be fake dating her high school's resident bad boy. So, Counting Down With You is counting down the 28 days based on their agreement of fake dating a la To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And I saw this book on my Twitter, and I don't know, just like the book says, a lot can change in 28 days, and this book sounds very interesting to me. Book number 2 is A Folk Love Story by Loan Lee, and I've been seeing this book since like late last year, and I've been very excited to get my hands on this book because it's a foodie romance, and I've always loved like romances relating to like a restaurant setting or just food settings, and this book is pitched as like a combination of When Dimple Met Rishi and Ugly Delicious, and the story would be revolving around two Vietnamese American teenagers who fall in love amidst like their two families having rival pho restaurants and like a feud that's been spanning for years. And I think it's really cute. I'm fingers crossed if I'm going to love this one. Book number 3 is Xoxo by IEO. And first of all, I just love the cover of this one. This book is about a cello prodigy meeting a guy randomly. I think it's in a karaoke bar, and they spent one night of fun and adventure. When she goes to this elite arts academy, she meets the guy again, and it turns out that the guy is a member of a K-pop boy band, and the guy is forbidden to date anyone, but you know, there's sparks and attraction between them. And yeah, so that's like the gist of what the book would be about. And I know it's like every K-pop fangirl's fantasy to date a K-pop boy band member, so I know many of like K-pop fans would love this book. I'm not really much of a K-pop fan myself, but I always enjoy like the famous non-famous trope, especially when it comes to musicians. Book number 4 is from an author I've read last year and who has written one of my recent favorite works, and it's The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I think this book is already out. I haven't gotten the chance to read this yet, but it's a different style from her previous young adult book. This one is an adult romantic comedy about two radio DJs, or I'm not sure if it's like more of a podcast, but basically these two radio hosts despise each other in real life, but the like station manager asks them to pretend to be exes, so just like for the fun banter of the show. And in this book, they try to navigate the mixed signals between their like the tension between them and their rise to fame because of their show blowing up. And this next book, the fifth one, is Shipped by Angie Hockman. And I saw this book from Gabby Reed's video, and of course I got attracted by the cover and also with what this book was pitched as, which is like the combination of The Hating Game and The Unhoneymooners. And I saw a review that says that if The Hating Game and The Unhoneymooners had a child, it's shipped. It's like ship is the perfect combination of the two reads. I haven't read The Unhoneymooners yet, but I love The Hating Game, so I'm hoping this book would also deliver that enemies to lovers story. I think the book is about this marketing manager and a social media manager, and they are both competing for a promotion or a project. So their boss like shipped them off in a cruise. So this story would happen on the sea with this enemies to lovers trope. Next, we have Everything After by Jill Santopolo, and this is a book I added to like my TBR because I own The Light We Lost by Jill Santopolo. I haven't read it yet, but I don't know. This book was pitched as The Light We Lost meets Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and Daisy Jones and the Six is like my most favorite book, like one of those one of my most favorite books of all time, especially since it revolved around music and like the dynamics of a band. And it says in the blurb for Everything After that this book is about first love, passion, and the power of choice. Two loves, two choices, and one chance to follow her dreams. So I don't know. This seems to revolve around music as well. So I'm so excited to be getting this sometime in the future. My next pick is another book with an awesome cover. Just look at it. It's so gorgeous, and I really love how the artist did this cover. I just saw it randomly on the internet, but I've never heard of a book set in, a romance book set in Trinidad and Tobago. So Sweet Hand by N.G. Peltier is a book that I really want to get my hands on this year. It's part of the Island Bites series. It's the first book, and it's an enemies to lovers romance as well. It's about a pastry chef whose sister is going to get married, so she is the maid of honor, and the romance would be between her and the best man. So it sounds so amazing, and again, the cover is so beautiful, so I'm so excited for Sweet Hand. Next, we have a book that released last January, but I haven't got the chance to grab a copy of. It's Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo. And again, look at this amazing cover. So good. And the blurb on the cover also says that this book is for anyone who has ever loved in any sense of the word. It's a historical fiction. It's a sapphic romance. Basically, it's a gripping story of love and duty between two girls, and it was set in San Francisco's Chinatown in 1954's Red Rage. Unfortunately, I'm not that historically knowledgeable, so I really don't know what Red Rage is about. I'll try to do some research on the topic, but I think this book will also like pave my way to learn more about what happened in 1954 and why their love story was like really brave and precious at that time. Next book is another young adult romance, and it's called Made in Korea by Sarah Sok or Sarah Suk. I'm not sure. This book is about two Korean American teens who created their own Korean beauty businesses, and one of those businesses was already established in the school, and then the other is a business established by a new student. And so their businesses become rival companies, but somewhere along the way they also fall in love. The next book is The Shahadi Setup by Lily Vale. This book is another book here with Asian representation. This time it's about an Indian American woman who signs herself up on this dating app. Basically, she put her info and her boyfriend's info on this matchmaking site just so she can prove to everyone that they are a perfect match. But the results came in and she got paired with her ex instead. So this story will revolve around the second chance romance she would be having with her ex-boyfriend. Next is a book from my favorite author duo, Christina Lauren. They have been producing books left and right, and I'm so happy for them. For 2021, they would be releasing The Soulmate Equation, and it's like their foray into the world similar to like the Rosie Project, or yeah. And it's basically about what happens when two people are thrown in together by science. Basically, there is this DNA matchmaking site and a woman signs up for it, and the result that she got is that she matched with like the creator of the app. So basically that's what the book would be about. It says here that it's emotional, sweet, and surprising. Next, we have here another book from an author I've read before. This time it's Rosie Danan. It's The Intimacy Experiment. And I'm so happy when I saw the synopsis of this book that it would revolve around Naomi Grant. If you have read The Roommate, which was one of those romances that many people picked up in 2020, you'll know who Naomi Grant is. She is actually the ex of the main character in that book, and they established this business about pleasure and intimacy. This time, Naomi finds her own chance at true love when she meets this hot rabbi, Ethan, and Naomi decided to push her sex positivity project into live seminars or live advice programs, and she joins forces with Ethan to create a seminar series called Modern Intimacy. They wanted to solve their own personal problems, but what they discover instead is they have an attraction with each other, and that's where the story would take us. I'm so excited about this one because I love the writing style of Rosie Danan. The next book we have is We Can't Keep Meeting Like This, which is another book of Rachel Lynn Solomon's coming out this 2021. And this time it's another young adult book, and I love To Date the Night Tomorrow so much that I really have high hopes about this Rachel Lynn Solomon release coming this year. This book revolves around weddings. Quinn, our main character, is the daughter of wedding planners, and she usually plays the harp on weddings. And Tarek's parents own a catering company, so most of the time he works as a cater waiter. And they know each other because of the weddings that they work at. And basically Quinn has a crush on Tarek, and at the end of the summer, Queen emailed Tarek a love letter, but she didn't get a reply, and Tarek left already for college without a response to her. The next book is a book I have already read, but I wanted to include it here because it's a great 2021 romance release, and it's You Have a Match by Emma Lord. Basically, it's about three main things: a new love, a secret sister, and a summer that she will never forget. It's written very beautifully. I read this last January, and Emma Lord writes an amazing book. Though this is a romance, there's also lots of like family dynamics here, and also about friendship, about growing up, about forgiveness and all of that. So you definitely should read this one. Next is another book from Wednesday Books. It's Amelia Unabridged by Ashley Schumacher. I think like You Have a Match, this book has romance as like one of the subplots of the book, but it also revolves around something else. And it says at the blurb on top of the book that it's never too late to start a new chapter. I think this is quite a heavy one, but what I've understood from the cover is that, from the synopsis, is that Amelia and her best friend is like fans of this YA author that they really wanted to go to a meet and greet, and unfortunately Amelia didn't have the chance to, but her friend got picked. They got into a fight and then her friend died, and then one day she receives like a rare copy of the book of their favorite author, and she wonders why. And I don't know how, but she got this encounter with the author, and I think a romance will start between the two of them. Basically, the book is about finding hope and strength within yourself, and maybe, just maybe, falling in love while you do it. The next book is also a book from an author I've read recently, and it's People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, the author for Beach Read. And this time, she writes about a travel writer, and the trope is about best friends turned lovers. It says on the synopsis of the book, with 1 week to win back the best friends she might just be in love with, a travel writer plans the trip of a lifetime. It sounds amazing. I've always been fascinated with like best friend turned lovers romances. When done right, they're so good. So excited to read about this one. The next book is the third installment in like the Brown sisters. I've loved the book about Chloe Brown and Danny Brown. Now's the time to jump in with Eve's story in Act Your Age, Eve Brown. And it says on the synopsis of the book that the flightiest Brown sister crashes into the life of an uptight B&B owner and has him falling hard, literally. So this sounds amazing. I know I don't have to sell Talia Hibbert's talent to anyone because she's always proven how good she writes, and there's always underlying educational stuff I get from the book. Like her book does not really rely on romance alone. There's a lot of education about sexuality, identity, gender, and women in science, feminism, and all of that. And I don't know, I just love this series, so I'm so excited to read about the story of Eve Brown. Next, we have Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. I'm excited about this book. At the same time, I feel a little cautious because I loved The Hating Game, but I didn't like 99% Mine. So I don't know how I would feel with this book, but the synopsis sounds interesting. It says that this book is a clever, funny, and unforgettable story about a muscular, tattooed man hired as an assistant to two old women under the watchful eye of a beautiful retirement home manager. So our setting here is a retirement home. I'm sure this is going to be funny because we have a guy who'll be the personal assistant of like the two quirkiest residents in the retirement home who like hires assistants week after week because they can't stand them. The assistants can't stand these two women together. So I think it's going to be fun to read this one. So we're down to our last 3 books. We have next is another Wednesday books read. This is Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez, who wrote Only Mostly Devastated, which is a book I read I think last year and I loved. So this time it's about a bisexual girl who gives anonymous love advice to her classmates, and she is hired by a hot guy to help him win his ex-girlfriend back. But the problem is that our lead here develops feelings while helping them like get back together. So this is going to be fun. The next book is Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli. Again, another author whose former reads I enjoyed before, and this time also has LGBT rep. So basically in Kate in Waiting, we have Kate and Andy. So they have been longtime best friends. They do theater together, and Kate and Andy have the same crush on someone. So they have they have a crush on Matt Olson, and then their long distance crush shows up at their school, and now they don't know what to do with it because he is both talented and sweet. But the problem is that both Kate and Andy really likes him. So basically, it's a straight girl and a gay guy crushing on the same person, but the problem is that they're friends. So I don't know where this story would go, so it's going to be about a romance and the dynamics of their friendship. It's going to be fun. And finally is a book by an author who I also loved before, which is Julie Murphy. This book has plus size representation, yes, and it's If the Shoe Fits. I think this belongs to the series called Meant to Be, and this is the first book. Basically, it's a Cinderella retelling, and Cindy is working for her stepmother, and her stepmom is the executive producer of Before Midnight, which is like a reality show. And something happened, and there's like a spot to be filled on the show, and Cindy volunteered to fill in that spot. So she became like a body positivity icon overnight, and she finds love along the way, and it's so exciting. I always love like the reality show reads. I love reality shows, so of course I would love a book about reality shows. And I also love that we got plus size rap here. I hope though that this will be better written than One to Watch, which I anticipated and I had high hopes for, but felt a little meh. But so yeah, I don't know, but I'm really expecting a lot from this, and I hope this is going to be a good one. So those are the 21 romances I'm excited about for 2021. I hope that I talked about a book that you'd also want to pick up sometime in the future. If you have other romance reads that are releasing this year I haven't included in this video, please comment them down below so I can check them out, and maybe I could make a part 2 of this video. I don't know. Yeah, thank you so much for watching until the end. I'm so excited to hear about your recommendations. See you on the next one. Bye!